So what we are doing today for the next 45 minutes or so is looking at some of the direct mail options that we have for open enrollment and beyond that, because what we want to do is build on the success that we have during this very frenzied time and carry it through all of next year, because hey, we got bills to pay year round. We've asked our friends from Lead Concepts to come and visit with us, and our guest speaker today is Mr. Chris Weir, who's the founder and CEO of Lead Concepts and of the Chris Weir Effect. And what we'll do right now is basically turn the presentation over to Chris, and you will be blessed with my silence and be endowed with the knowledge from Mr. Weir. And here we go. Chris, the comm is yours.
All right, I'm here. Can you get me? All right. Thank you. Thanks for the introduction. For me, it's always a pleasure to get to do this, talk to a group of people from around the country, even if I don't know where they are, getting a chance to talk about leads and what I've spent the last 27 years building. There it is. That's greatness that just entered the room. That's something that I talk about every chance that I get when I'm talking to salespeople, agents like you guys that have entered into a world where you can make any amount of money that is possible to you. There are many, many jobs out there, but you've chosen a career that requires so much from you. And for people that I meet oftentimes doing some pretty incredible things, they often feel like what they're doing is mundane because they wake up and they do it every single morning. A surgeon that removes a brain tumor at the end of the day says it was easy because he knows how to remove a brain tumor. In his mind, it's mundane. The things that you have to do in your world to be successful are not mundane. So it's always important to me to start by saying that greatness just entered the room, and by that I'm talking about you guys. A lot of different things you could have chosen to do. What you do is really, really hard. So congratulations on being able to master all of these things, and I know this is not a complete list. For me, I've been doing this for 27 years. This is my shop now today. It is not what it looked like 27 years ago, I can assure you. But if you see the note there, guaranteed leads, that is what everybody is looking for. For me, that's my blue ocean. That's where I've swum so far out into the ocean that I don't have anybody else swimming near me. Nobody else is doing what I do, and you'll see this a couple of times throughout the presentation, that what I do here at Lead Concepts is in fact unique and different from my competitors. We tell you how many leads you're going to get, and that's a guarantee. So, agent calls me and wants to know about Medicare. The question is, are we talking about a low income, dual eligible Medicare, Med Advantage? Are we talking about a Medicare supplement, probably people with a little bit more money? Or are we talking about the T65s, the age-in population? And nowadays, of course, people are doing a lot of different seminars, so we're going to roll through all of those. As you can see here, we're starting with the Medicare Advantage lead program. Uniquely, over the last couple of years, we're finding more and more people taking this Medicare Advantage to under age 64 all the way down to 65. Excuse me, age 55. And the reason for that is if somebody is 55 years old and their income truly is between $0 and $15,000, we probably have somebody there that has a chronic illness, and that's going to qualify them for the Med Advantage. So it's low income, it's chronic illness, but when you take the age down to 55, you really have a broad base to work from there, and that will minimize your windshield time when you have that much data in one zip code. You're not driving all over creation to work the lead. Here again, specific to the chronic illness, a little different wording. same format. Most of the formats that I'm going to show you today are a format that only Lead Concepts provides. We call it a Z-fold format because this is an 8.5 by 11 form. We prefabricate these millions at a time. So they're all going to be white. That's the only color available for that reason. And they fold down in a Z shape, hiding the response card in the middle. You can see the front and the back of the response card there. So they're going to tear off the top and the bottom of this when they get it. It'll look about the size of a regular envelope. Tearing off the top and the bottom and the sides, they're going to open it up and fill out this card in the middle, pop it out, and mail it back. This particular format, again called the Z-fold, just pulls like crazy. It is another blue ocean opportunity for us. Nobody else is doing this format. I've been doing it for about 6 or 7 years now with incredible success. It's one of the things that we do that creates a higher response rate for us than what our competitors will see. This particular mailer is really done all year long as well, 64 to 85. This is Medicare specific, although you can, of course, when you're talking to the prospect, be able to sell the Medicare Advantage. Obviously, you've got scope of appointment form and all those regulations to be aware of. But this particular mailer is my favorite mailer when we're mailing incomes that are a little bit higher. We don't want to mail the zeros here. I like $20,000 to $60,000 income ranges. The higher the income, oftentimes the less results that we see from direct mail. The wealthier folks, they just have all the answers. So they don't need us as much. So I choose not to mail the folks that are earning more than $60,000 a year. I get those people when I do the age-in market. So that's where we get the wealthier folks. Very similar mail piece here. Again, the Z-fold. This mailer is simply designed to add the dental and vision, another reason for somebody to respond. This is a fantastic mailer, big pull, and we do as much as this as we do of anything else, again, all year round. Are you paying too much for your Medicare supplement? Policies A through G, M and N are available. Some of those are going to be changing in the new year. This is a mailer that we mail specifically to those who may have had a rate increase, ages 67 to 72. And in this case, we'll take the incomes up a bit higher because if they've got a Medicare supplement, and we do believe they've had a rate increase by year 3, it's a perfect time to mail to them. And it does pull very, very well to that age group. One thing I want to make a note of here, I don't really like that this mailer is asking people to fill out their date of birth. It's really an unnecessary component of this mail piece because all of my mailers, if you look at the circled portion, if you look at the circled portion under the barcode, you'll see that we instill the date of birth for both the husband and the wife right there on the card. The problem is my customers tend not to ever notice that no matter how many times I tell them, so it creates a challenge. So some people actually still want that date of birth on there. It's not my favorite thing. But every mailer we do in all markets does identify the date of birth for both the person filling out the card and the spouse if there's a spouse in the home. Are you losing your current plan? For me, one of the first 2 mailers we did, I showed you, my favorite mailers are going to pull higher than any of these. So I have people want specific wording. Obviously, we're not in the business of just getting leads. You guys are in the business of making money and writing apps. So I do need to have minor modifications to the leads to personalize it for different people with different approaches. If it were up to me, I'd be mailing the mailer that gets the most cards every time. But guess what? It's not up to me. What's up to me is making sure that before anybody spends any money, They understand exactly what they're buying. That's actually my function. Here it is. Everybody wants it. We do it all over the country. Turning age 65, the people that are 64 and a half. When I market this to people who are turning age 65, 3 or 4 months from now, I will pull 10 to 15 cards at most, because they've already received this particular form of mailing many, many times before, possibly from me as well as other companies and individuals. So by the time you get to within 3 or 4 months, you're making an expenditure of $500 to get 10 or 15 cards. If I market this to people 7 months before they turn 65, I'll get 20 to 25 cards. But if I market this to people that are 10 or 11 months before their 65th birthday, the same $500 spend will net you anywhere from 35 to 60 cards. So again, it isn't up to me to tell you what to do, but to give you all the information that's available to you. If you're mailing people, if you're getting cards back from people who are 90 days out and they have not made a decision, that's a fantastic lead for you. And I would think highly closable, but it costs you $50 a piece if you just got 10 of them. And if we get out further where we can see as much as 40 or 50 cards, you know, your lead cards cost maybe $10 per card. You just can't sell them yet. You've got to go out, do your presentation, and set an appointment for that specific date when you can write the application for them. A lot of different mailers available for the T65. This is the one that pulls the highest, but we do have a lot of different variations of T65 that we can use and show and make every effort to enhance the response percentages here. Again, it's what everyone's after. Right now I have a tremendous amount of people sending me their client retention postcard along with their list. I've got a number of these as well. This is just one example. And it's a perfect time to send something out to your client base, letting them know that while things are changing, their agent will not be changing. They can reach out to you directly if they have any questions right now, or please be assured that you are going to be coming by, setting an appointment, and reviewing their plan to make sure what they have for next year is going to be exactly right going forward. So to do this, an agent will simply send me, if they want their picture on it, just send me your picture, your contact information, 800 number, or just phone number, cell phone. We can set everything up here, do all the artwork, make it very, very simple for you. Main thing is, of course, I don't have a list, so you'd have to have your list in some form of a spreadsheet so that I could perform the mailing. If it would be beneficial to you, we would be happy to do the artwork for you. Do that bounce back and forth until we get it exactly right for you, and I'll send you a PDF that's ready to roll, and then you can produce it at your local store and address them and mail them out yourself with a 50-cent stamp. So I'll be happy to do that artwork for you at no cost. Our technology, our CRM, if you will, Lead Link, it was years in the making, and it's never done. It's always being updated. It's how we push the leads to you. But having done this for 27 years, I still mail the hard copies to every single customer because that's what you're really buying. So LeadLink will house and store all of your leads, every response that you've ever gotten, available to you anytime you want it in the future. You can use it, if you want to use it as a broker, all the leads would come into your lead link and could already be assigned to push through to a downline agent if you'd like to do that, or you can simply use it yourself to manage your leads. We provide every lead to you the day we receive a lead in the mail. We scan it and email it directly to you. So it's instant from the time we get it, you'll be getting it. At the same time, LeadLink is populated for you as a forever tool to manage all of your leads forever. And then again, as I mentioned, once a week we drop the hard copies in the mail to you. If you don't want them, let us know. Some people don't want them, but most people do. And so I like being able to send them out in all three ways. There's a lead right there you can see. We have found 85% of the people filling out the cards write their phone number on it. 85% write their phone number on it. So pretty strong percentage. When you get that card emailed to you, it's ready to go with their handwriting on it and their phone number on it for you to make a call. Try and set that appointment if you're doing it that way. I will tell you, people just are not answering the phones anymore, and you know that. For some people, I have heard people, you make a phone call or two and get no answer. The next step would be to take a picture with your cell phone of that lead and text it to that senior, letting them know that you're going to be calling them within the hour and wanted them to know who you were and why you would be calling. So this alerts them to the fact that you're going to be calling and increases the opportunity for them to answer the phone and get their questions answered. Obviously, you're going to have to go to the door on any number of them that just never answer. Here's my biggest growing Medicare market right now, the Medicare seminar. It's a beautiful way to educate people. They come out, they sit, they listen. I do not have anyone that is buying expensive meals. That's not a function of the Medicare seminar program. That's a function of the financial planners world. But for Medicare, it's oftentimes done at a local library or a civic center, very affordable. You do it at the same time, maybe once a week, twice a month. Our blue ocean in the Medicare seminar world is that we're the only company out there that is merging the Medicare seminar postcard mailer along with Facebook to make sure that if your room will hold 25 people, we want to have 25 people in there. If 20 is your magic number that you can handle and get a nice Q&A, well, we want to know that, and that's what we're going to be working between the combination of mail and Facebook, Instagram, and we will fill that room up for you. The people that respond in Facebook do not respond through the mail, it would seem. So we're getting different people replying. We have found in the Facebook world, if we get 10 people signed up to attend right now with all of our efforts to remind and stay in front of those people who responded, we're finding 2 or 3 of the 10 actually attend the seminar. So of the 7 who are age 64, they are 64, they did fill out the form, but did not show up. That's a lead opportunity for you. It'd be better if they showed up at the seminar, but we can invoke the response that 10 people are coming and have 2 or 3 actually show up. But you'll have a master list of everyone, so those 7 that didn't show up, those are leads that'll go in your pipeline for follow-up. We have a few different colored versions. They're all essentially priced the same. Every seminar mailer is personalized every time, and we do all of that for you. We need to know the date, the time, and the location, and then of course how many people you want in that room. So for me to communicate what to expect is what me and anyone at Lead Concepts is prepared to do. Before you spend money with us on whether it's a Medicare Advantage, a Medicare Supplement, a T65, or a seminar, it's not the same as spending your money on a billboard or in a newspaper, a senior periodical, or if you wanted to put your name on a shopping cart at the local grocery store. We know it's important to be marketing, but it's tough to know where to do the marketing sometimes, especially if times are tight. If you're starting out and you're lean, you want to be aligned with a person, a company that's invested in making sure that if you want 20 people there, we're going to get 20 people there. If you're doing a mailing and we know the selections that you gave us are not going to work well, we're going to give you that information before we ever take any money. To simply place orders is not a function of the team at Lead Concepts, and there's 35 of us here invested in the success of each mail campaign. So for the dollars that are spent, you should have a guarantee. If I do this and I spend that, this is what I'm going to see back. What I can't do is work the lead for you. That's comes from your efforts, calling, texting, knocking on the doors, sales training, what you will get from John and his team in helping to understand words and phrases that really escalate your opportunity for a yes, which the silly word for that is yes-escalating the situation, but it does make sense. What are the words and phrases used to escalate the situation? That can be done through trial and error. I call your attention back to the fact that what you do is not mundane. Keeping up with every legal tax deduction to make sure your taxes are done right. Keeping up with continuing education, learning how to do marketing, which includes so many different things these days. Learning to cross-sell. I tell you, my job is much easier than yours. Our job here at Lead Concepts is to give you the tools to be successful and to make sure you don't spend any money without knowing what the future holds for you. So John, I may have come through that a little bit quicker than you wanted. Those are the various lead pieces that I offer for Medicare, and of course we do final expense and annuities and any number of other things, but for the course of today we were focused on AEP.
That's perfect, Chris. I appreciate it. I think it is very important to note that you do offer programs across the board for a number of different insurance niches, and I think what you've demonstrated today for our Medicare folks is dead on what we were looking for, and I appreciate that, and thank you very much. We do have a couple of questions. One is kind of directed at me because I keep talking about people farming a particular area. The question is, do you repeat a mailing in an area with the same letter, or do you recommend varying the approach with the letter for a different type of return?
I am not a proponent of what we would call drip marketing, where you're pushing the message as many as 6 times to the same area. If you were living in Mount Ida, Arkansas, and that was constituted all of your area, you would mail those same people regularly because you just want to make sure nobody else did. But that is, for me, in most cases, with a reasonable amount of travel, you can rotate and always have that message going to people fresh, where they haven't seen it in the last 3 or 4 or 5 months. I'd rather not mail an address more than 3 or 4 times a year. 3 is probably ideal.
Awesome. That's exactly what we're looking for. The other question is just a bit of a follow-up on my part. Today's presentation and the presentation itself with a link to the recording is being sent to everyone who is part of today's presentation. One of the other ones, just question just popped up, Chris. It's talking about a particular county in Texas where most of the leads were sent out over 100 plus. So what they're looking at are people that are being constantly bombarded with different pieces of mail. How does your organization handle orders that come into your shop that's targeting the same area? I'm paraphrasing your question again.
Yes, we call that a conflict, and that's an important part of what we do. We've always said for 27 years, if you mail the same address, we'll say, for 2 different people, it's the easiest way for me to lose 2 customers at once. So we during AEP, from September 15th to the end of AEP, we protect areas for 30 days. Outside of AEP, the rest of the year, we protect the areas for 60 days. So it's quieter during the, December through, September 15th. And then it's during the AEP, it's 30 days there. We obviously can't control what other companies or individuals or even carriers are doing. But if we've mailed an address, we don't want to mail it again.
Awesome. That answers a couple of the questions that popped up. So great. I want to thank you for coming on the line with us today. I want to thank Mr. Chris Weir for his presentation and the insight that he's given us on different programs that are offered to you through Lead Concepts. I thank you once again for coming on the line. And until we speak with you again, we wish you good selling. Thanks so very much, and we'll talk with you soon.